Experiments on Americans to attract the attention of a younger audience. CIA Director James Woolsey said he expected the experiments to be endorsements from TV and rock stars. The U.S. military expects the younger audience to fully comply.
The Dirty 30 Podcast.
And we're back. The Dirty 30 Podcast, episode 12.
It is a new year. First episode of the new year.
Monday the 13th. I've
Yes.
got this idea for a movie. Check
Okay.
this out. Horror movie. Monday the 13th.
Monday the 13th. What would the
What do you
music
think?
sound like? I mean, dude, I would like to produce and finance this film. Executive produce.
Honestly, kind of like a
Change it up for copyright reasons.
Chicago.
Well, actually,
All
Shane,
right.
I have some great news, a little surprise for you, if you will. This first episode of the new year of the Dirty 30 podcast has its very first sponsor. This sponsor could not be appreciated more in my eyes, to be honest. And our first sponsor is Starbucks.
Surprise!
I can't believe it myself. But pretty much the roundabout way of us getting Starbucks. By the way, we'll give you guys a promo code later in the podcast so that you guys can get a discount or a gift card or something like that. But what happened is I frequent Starbucks. Sometimes I'm addicted to caffeine. So in the morning before work, I need to get some coffee. So I frequent
understand.
a local Starbucks here. And what happened is one day, for some reason or the other, there was a security hold on my card. So I was $5 short on being able to pay for what I get there every day. And the guy working the drive-through window at Starbucks looked at me and said, "You know what, dude? I see you here all the time. Don't worry about it. I got you." And I looked him square in the eyes and I said, "You know what, dude? I'm going to mention Starbucks in my next podcast in return for your graciousness during this transaction." So that's how that whole came about. This episode is brought to you by Starbucks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally know that barista's name, but I can tell you one thing. They are doing the Lord's work, and they are doing the Lord's work over there at Starbucks.
Yeah, I didn't tell Shane before the podcast either. I wanted it to be a surprise.
Yeah, it blows my mind. And like Tim said, later on in the podcast, we'll give you that promo code for a free gift to redeem. Redeemable online or at any local Starbucks. I believe they're not even doing participating. They're just doing every Starbucks you'll be able to redeem this. So
In the world.
just stay tight.
Yeah.
Stay tight.
Hang
the
tight.
whole world. Monday the 13th, baby. What are you doing?
I'm chilling, man. It's the new year. Fucking got through New Year's Eve actually in a very, very mild manner, which was not surprising. It was very, very deliberate. I have a pregnant wife at home, and we decided that we would keep up with the tradition of going to downtown Long Beach for New Year's Eve, which you have been a part of many a time.
Oh my God. Many times. Many memories. That's a wonderful, wonderful place to go for the new year.
We met up with our boy Alex, AGB, and his wife, but not real wife, his girlfriend, Chef. And
That's her name. Her name is Chef.
It's Chef. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not trying to blast people out on our podcast. I give them AGB, Chef. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we met up with them.
Look her up. It's Chef.
It's Chef. Yeah, you find her online. But yeah, we met up, went to downtown Long Beach, had a nice drink at midnight, and smoked a cigar, and pretty much hung out for a few hours. Went home, woke up the next morning not hungover at all, which was I don't know, it was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah.
It was a great way to start the year.
That is a great way to start. I'm proud of Karen for having a drink.
No, she's. Yeah, I gotta say, she definitely did not drink. She's the DD by her own volunteerness. That's the funny thing. I volunteered. You know me, Shane. I'm just trying to be a good guy and do the right thing. I was like, you want me to not drink while you're pregnant? Because I could totally do that. Like, that's not a problem for me. And she was like, no, are you kidding me, you idiot? You have a designated driver for 9 months. And I was like,
That I know, and that is God bless Karen, because she is a saint, and especially when it comes to that, that's like such a cool little co-pilot vibe right there that you got, where you just get to cruise.
Yeah,
she's
man.
showing. You know what's weird is that you're kind of the third wheel now.
yeah,
That's kind of rad.
that's okay
That's,
that's okay with me.
No, that's totally cool, man.
I can settle
Yeah.
into my nook, dude. As long as I got a recliner and a PS4 at home, dude, I can get through anything.
Absolutely. I fell in love with a new drink on New Year's, and I feel really weird about it because I've never been like a big fan of vodka ever since we drank pop-off vodka too many times as like kids. Yeah, it's just real weird. I don't really dig it these days,
Oh,
but
it's rubbing alcohol.
dude, I was making Moscow Mule. I think it would be a Moscow Mule. I don't really know. I was just kind of doing my own thing, but drinking it with Tito's. I had so much Tito's on New Year's, man.
Tito's
It
is
was,
actually a good vodka. Shout out them. For real.
It was really good. It was the night of the Kreischer. It was kind of this funny thing is Bert has one of those auto text things that just sends out to everyone as much as he says that it's not an auto text that sends out to everybody. But it was just like, hey, Happy New Year's. Don't drink and drive. I need you alive to come out to the Birdie Boy World Tour next year. And then like a bunch of dates. Like it was super well played. Like, cheers to him. And so I had the opportunity to just drink a bunch of Tito's, and I went with it. And I was doing so 2 ounce Tito. Well, I was making. We were going pint glass too, so everything was doubled. But basically, go, a little bit of vodka, a little bit of ginger beer. We got I was going cherry bitters. It was really good, and then ice.
That's
and
a nice
lime.
touch.
Yeah, and not in that order either. It definitely started in more of a cocktail order, but literally just cherry bitters, ginger beer, Tito's, lime, ice, pint glass.
That sounds
liver.
really good. I want to try that.
Dude, it's super refreshing, and that's the problem. Is that it's so refreshing? Is that 10 of them later, you're just like fucking twisted, and then. Oh man, it was a great way to ring in the new year, though. I'll tell you that much.
I'm feeling good about 2020, other than, like the political turmoil and all the other shit that's like happened in the news since the year started. This year's just got some good vibes on it, like in my personal life,
Dude, I had nothing to worry about politically. I went and saw Monster Jam this last weekend, dude. There was like a truck that was dedicated to America. It was gnarly. It's like
Did it win?
Black Ops. No, you know who won? You know who won. Take a guess. If you're gonna guess who won Monster Jam,
Was it the puppy truck?
Gravedigger.
Oh, of course it was great.
Gravedigger won. Actually, I don't think that he really won too, because everybody at the end seemed kind of confused with me too, because they do like a point total, which is ridiculous because it's basically who can trash the truck the most by the end of it. But they did like a
Who
point
can
system.
get the drunk people to yell the loudest?
No, Earthshaker had it, man. This dude did a backflip in his truck. Like, just think about that sentence. Yeah, this person did a backflip in their truck.
I've seen it happen on Instagram like at least 100 times of people who go to Monster Jam and then post the truck doing the backflip. It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It is. Until you see the body of the trucks rip off and you realize it's just like paper mache around like a super skeleton of a truck that's not even a truck. It's a cockpit holding one person and a massive engine doing all this other shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to ruin it for any of you kids that might be listening out there, but Monster Jam is 100% fake. There aren't even
It's not even real people.
It's not
inside.
even real drivers inside. It's like wrestling. It's all choreographed. It's all 100% safe. It's easy to do. Anybody could do it. Anybody could learn how to do that truck thing. It's not
Choreographed. It's like the best. No, okay, this is the part that they never really tell you about Monster Jam, which I think is hilarious, is that you go and there's such a high chance that one of those people just go to start the truck and it doesn't start. So they're just disqualified from this round.
It's
But
like
what
the
you're
Harlem Globetrotters, dude. It's it's an act. It's an act.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because there was
Gravedigger's
like
going to win every time because that's what America wants.
right. No, absolutely.
Also,
Well,
I'm
that
going
was
to
the
ruin
funny
some
part,
magic
too.
of Monster Jam for you right now because last night in Anaheim, California, if I'm not mistaken, was also Monster Jam happening with, I believe, Gravedigger fucking performing there as well. So there's multiple Gravedigger trucks on
There
this
are.
circuit and they do multiple
There are.
shows on the same night going. So, I'm just peeling back the curtain of this industry and, I'm just exposing it for what it is, which is entertainment and entertainment at only. That's it.
That is pretty true. Which I did. I was very entertained by it. That was for sure. I wasn't entertained by the fact that was feeling old and tired and I just wanted some coffee. And I was asking if they had any coffee at any of the concession stands and no one did. They all looked at me like, what are you talking about? We serve beer and beer only. And, yeah, it was,
Do you have beer with coffee in it?
yeah, exactly. Do you have any coffee beer?
I'll settle for that, I guess.
No, that shit's pretty funny. I don't know, man. It was good though. Other than that, truly the new year so far, it's just been back to normal work schedule. Like shit got too weird with those like couple days of work, day off, couple days of work, day off, weekend, day off, couple days of work. Because like pretty much since Buffalo, we came back and we kind of talked about it on the last episode how much it was just like back to the grind, getting used to it, and truly just since then, it's been even more. It's been even more.
Yeah, it was the first like full week back at work, and it was like the most Monday ever. You know what I mean? After getting through the holidays, but after a full work week, already back into the swing of it. I'm ready to go. 2020, let's do this. Let's do this, people. Well, that brings us, it's funny. We're doing the first episode of the new year, and we're doing it, you guys, we're celebrating it on the 13th, which is fantastic. And there was actually some pretty decent things that came up on this day, and not only some sweet birthdays of some sweet human beings, but also some decent music and also other shinfo for you. So let's start off with birthdays.
Yeah, the only birthdays I really care about in these, Michael Pena. I think he's great. I think he's a wonderful actor.
Michael Pena. he is. I don't like locked doors.
I don't like locked doors. And Connor McDavid's cool, considering he's like a little kid to me still, and he's like the most insane hockey player. But
Yeah.
who else we got? We got Patrick Dempsey. You love him. You liked him in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh no, dude. The wife watches it. I can't say I'm a huge fan.
I'm not a huge fan at all. I'm actually not even a fan, but it's weird to say that I've seen a bunch of episodes.
You know what? If that is a reflection of what the city of Seattle is like at all, Grey's Anatomy, I don't want to go to fucking Seattle ever again.
Yeah, everyone dies.
I'm just kidding.
That's the part that everyone, who would have had a birthday today, actually, who would have been 88, but this is someone I'm a huge fan of. Rip Taylor. Wow! That wacky self.
He is what a fucking character, dude. There's no other way to put it. Like the dude, obviously know him pretty much from like Jackass, right?
Just
like,
the ending of Jackass, pretty much. That
Yeah.
was like what anyone listening to this would know him from. But he did the Gong Show, so really he did some crazy shit that was pretty like before its time, I guess. Is it? He was big for like the acting and comedy world, being just like think about the times if he would have been 88 and people are still uncomfortably coming out of the closet. Think about the life he lived, because he's probably the most flamboyant dude publicly
yeah,
for a long time. Like that's
yeah. It's funny
Probably
how
got
the
the
Jackass
shit
dudes,
kicked out of him for a long time.
the Jackass dudes always included like sort of obscure, sort of like older celebrities like that. Like they did John Waters in one, and they have like Rip Taylor is like it's funny. The sensibilities of that was always kind of comical, but yeah, fucking happy birthday or would have been birthday to that dude.
Yeah. He doesn't have birthdays anymore, but it's just something that happened on January 13th. But in 1992, American serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer pled guilty, but pled insanity.
Dahmer, that's a dark one. There's a bunch of podcasts about Dahmer, and made by white women. You can go listen to.
Yeah, man, that's like the weirdest.
What year was
things.
that? You said 1992.
92.
All right, so 93. Bobby Brown was arrested in Augusta, Georgia for simulating a sex act on stage. It was the second time that he had been arrested by the Augusta Police Department for the same offense. Fucking Bobby Brown, dude.
I want to know when the time was that he got arrested before. Like, how long before?
Yeah, he like fucking pulled his dick out and like humped a fan's face or something. That was a pretty Bobby Brown move.
Oh, we could do a throwback. It's another repeating act, but it would be on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1967. The Rolling Stones appeared. It's just pretty old school.
Yeah,
Just
that's some pretty old-timey.
deep cut.
Old-timey on this day. 1979, the YMCA filed a lawsuit against the Village People over the hit song YMCA. The suit was later dropped, probably in exchange for blowjobs.
Blowjobs and cocaine.
I would say it's probably something had to do part of that deal.
Right. Just on that Monster Jam note, because of how plastic all the trucks felt, or like I didn't feel them, but how it looked and how thin of plastic it was. But you want to talk a deep cut? 1942, Henry Ford patents the method to actually construct those plastic auto bodies. So
Look at that.
yeah,
Coming with that historical significance, Shane. I see you.
yeah, dude. Callbacks, deep cuts,
Deep cuts.
fucking.
Well,
I got it. Dude.
I'm going on to this one. 2003, not that deep of a cut. Pete Townsend of The Who was arrested on suspicion of possessing indecent images of children. Townsend said that his use of an internet website advertising child pornography was the research for an autobiography. Okay, Pete.
Hey, that is epic. And on the note of weird child pornography and stuff, someone who they just haven't caught yet, Bill Gates in 2000. Bill Gates, he actually stepped aside as a chief executive and promoted Steve Ballmer.
Yep.
He
And that
promoted him
dude
to
for
that
sure
position.
has weird shit on his personal hard drives, dude.
Yeah, he's a Clippers owner, right?
Yep,
Isn't that the guy that?
and I'm a Clippers hater, bona fide. So I'm gonna go ahead and spread the news that Steve Ballmer, that weird dude jumping around on the side at Clippers games.
Dun dun dun! You heard it here first.
heard it here
TMZ, TDT Cast Z.
Yep. I don't know what it's gonna be, but something weird about that dude.
Dude, I believe it. Honestly, I'm gonna post all that to Reddit. Actually, I won't do that, but
Please
that
do,
would be
dude. I could use the fucking extra fucking points. Give me some fucking
How
points.
How funny would it be if this goes viral from some news thing because that's all true, and then we become like how Hannibal Buress outed Cosby, when really all he did was make a joke about something everybody in the industry already knew about.
Yeah, dude. Well, sometimes
That's what
having a sense of humor like this comes with a large responsibility, and I'm willing to take it on.
Right. Well, large. You know what?
Not a bad day, dude. It's actually a fucking. There's some significant day. January 13th. Fucking coming with the hitters.
Right. It's real windy here. It's real windy here on this day. It's actually real cold, dropping down to snow levels. I feel like I can hear that wind too.
Yeah.
I feel like I could hear the wind howling. It's
Ooh.
like out of the window, and for me up in the Pacific Northwest right now, I can hear
Southern
it howling
wind.
out the window.
Southern wind.
But that's not wind,
No.
dude. That's the goddamn Michelada minute. I also want to apologize to anyone that might be hearing weird scratchy noises if it is happening. I got this weird, very large mustache on my face that I refuse to trim, and it's just been rubbing up against this microphone. And if I have a feeling that's the cause of past scratches. So, on that note, as I sip this Michelada, just wanted to throw that apology out there.
His mustache, or as some people call it, his Michelada straw.
Dude, that's my Michelada sponge.
Sponge.
Oh, it really is.
I needed this Michelada, actually, Shane. First Michelada of the new year, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not proud to say that almost 2 weeks into the year, but...
I am proud to say that because I wanted to wait till we could drink it with everybody else that's listening to this. And I know that we've had some friends recently tagging us in photos of just Micheladas. It's been happening more and more since the podcast came back, and we keep talking about it.
Keep them coming, people. We love it. Thank you.
It is epic.
It means so much.
But what we really just want to talk about, like since we started the podcast, I think just last year was a pretty cool year for us creatively. We haven't, besides the podcast itself, we haven't really posted any of the music we've been working on. But what we've been doing is we've just been creating stuff again. And I think 2019 was pretty inspiring with just like the amount of content that's being put out now by other artists, and that being from musicians to comedians to just actors that on social media, and everyone, anyone that has a voice right now is just able to just post about it and all that. And we've been listening to so many goddamn podcasts recently. Like, I hardly listen to music anymore. I kind of just listen to what I already like, and then I listen to a lot of new podcasts because it's always new content.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what our list of this episode, we were just going to talk about like podcasts from last year, like a list of podcasts that we really love. And I don't know, I guess we can say inspiring, but it's hard to say inspiring. It's just comical. Anything that makes me laugh personally, I can keep going. That just gives me fuel.
Yeah, most of them, you'll notice a comedy-centric theme in here, but also I drive a lot. I commute to work in LA. I live in Orange County. I could listen to music, which I do. I try to listen as much music as I can, but a lot of my time is filled with podcasts because it's like, I feel like I'm multitasking in a way.
Yeah.
I can learn, I can laugh, I can just be entertained. You know what I mean? I could just have a mind-numbing drive if I want to and just put on a podcast about the most childish, dumb shit ever and just fucking, you know what I mean? Everywhere in between, and it's a good one to come into the new year because podcasts, I think, are a form that really show the importance of audio and audio alone, and the information exchange that can happen that way. And so like I said, yeah, we're going to have a comedy centric, but I think that there's also going to be some surprising ones to sprinkle in there as well.
Yeah. And that's something too, is like, and I'll just jump right into it. But one that I really love is like The Honeydew with Ryan Sickler, because that one, he's, yes, a comedian, but as he says, he highlights the lowlights.
Yeah.
And he literally has other comedians and musicians and actors and shit on, and they talk about the years that made them the fucked people they are, or like what gave them that dark sense of humor. Like comedian Tony Hinchcliffe just talks about how he didn't know that he was a bastard child of a dude that lived around the corner.
Yeah.
Like crazy shit that he found out like as a child, and then the ways he found out, and then he just openly talks about it on a podcast. And
highlighting
like
the
form
lowlights.
Of therapy.
It really is, dude. It really is. That podcast and the deep dives, the Joey Diaz episodes is what brought me there. And that leads us to the Church of What's Happening Now as far as podcasts to mention on favorite podcasts, because Joey Diaz is just like an anomaly, and not only in comedy, but I think in podcasting too, because the guy has so many crazy life experiences, and he can relate to so many people on a crazy level. It makes for a very interesting, in-depth conversation with somebody,
Yeah. And that's what I definitely love about the Church of What's Happening Now with that, where he just You know, he is all stories, but I just recently listened to somewhere he's just talking. What is it's with I'm forgetting the comedian's name, but Garcia from Reno 911. But he did the voice of Rocco for Rocco's Modern Life. He did voices in Cat Dog. He did the Yo Quiero Taco Bell. Yo Quiero Taco Bell. Like he did that.
Yeah.
He did all these voice, and I just listened to that podcast. And, him and Joey Diaz shooting the shit is weird because then you learn Joey Diaz is actually in that Taco Bell commercial. He's the dude in the chair in 1 millisecond of shot. And it's like how they kind of started working together or some other shit kind of sprung off of it. And it's like, look at them now. Yeah. They're both giant. And it's just
with all those random,
a bunch of shinfo.
All those random acting gigs Joey Diaz did. It's funny to see like the different ties to different people he has that come on his podcast.
Absolutely. And that, even where you got the most of them, we could say it. I think he's got to make it, but Rogan's podcast makes the list of just, I listened to so much of the Joe Rogan Experience, I guess, if we're naming the full episode or what the podcasts are called.
Yeah.
But mostly I listen to Joe's podcast for the guests.
100%.
He has so many good guests on. If you want to listen to Neil Tyson talk about how he believes the moon landing was real, or if you want to, that's the only thing I disagree with that guy on, for the record.
What I liked, at least Rogan, like last year, over the year, I definitely was probably the year I listened to it the least, you know what I mean? But like he had such good guests on, like the Bernie Sanders and Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard actually having like Democrat fucking nominees, you know what I mean? Kind of coming on and being able to in-depth explain their platform, I thought was awesome. But, there's also some other ones. I like the debate ones he did this year too. He did the pot debate.
Yeah.
He did the fucking
vegan documentary.
Yeah, debates like those, that format, and him mediating it. I think he does a pretty good job doing that. You know what I mean? But it's also it's fucking Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? It's funny as fucking white
bro science.
Yeah,
dude.
there's a
it's
stigma.
Bro science.
It's bro science. But when he actually has legitimate fucking scientists and fucking scholars on discussing things, it's super interesting, and I think it legitimately has a really huge unbias. I think Joe Rogan's pretty good at keeping it pretty fucking open-ended. Just fucking either you're on one side of the hill or you're the other, but either way you can still come talk about it. I think that's fucking cool. You know what I mean?
And it's just like back to him having like epic guests and stuff like that. That's totally how I heard. Like I had seen him before when he had like Tony Hinchcliffe had done some of the roasts and like the Snoop Dogg roast. I remember him just killing it on that. But I didn't really know who he was. And then Rogan would have him on, and a lot of people would just like shit on him in the YouTube comments and stuff. They hate fucking Tony Hinchcliffe. But for some reason, I just think he's hilarious. Like he's dark. He's just got a really good, he's got a good delivery to his like casual personality.
Sure.
And it led me to listen to his stuff. Well, I actually watch his podcast, but the Kill Tony show, or Kill Tony, I guess as it would just be called, but it's with him and Brian Redband, and it's like a comedy setting where they're calling people's names out of a hat or a bucket, whatever you.
It's
you
a live
sign up for
podcast
it.
from a live music venue, recorded and then put out via audio and video.
Yeah, and they do it where it's like a dais. They all sit there, and this is what kind of got me to pay attention to writing comedy. Something that you and I have been doing for a long time. We've actually been writing a joke comedy set for fucking 15 years now.
Yeah,
but I think what's epic with it is that Kill Tony came to Seattle, and I actually wrote 1 minute, because what you do is if you get pulled from the hat, you get 1 uninterrupted minute of stage time, and they basically roast the fuck out of you after.
Yeah.
So I knew that was going to happen. I don't know what would have happened if I did get picked, but
would have ended up fighting people on stage.
Dude, no, it would have been good. They would have talked some good shit. But it's just one of those where it's a good outlet to like I don't write at all. I've never been like a lyric person, so it's really funny to like sit there and type out onto my phone full structured jokes and like premises and shit.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, but
yeah. What other good podcasts are there to mention?
Tiger Belly.
Tiger Belly was
I like Tiger Belly.
A hot one this year.
Bobby Lee's podcast. Yeah.
Bobby Lee's a fucking gem in the entertainment world, and probably one of the more underrated entertainers I can really think of off the top of my head. But his podcast with his girlfriend and that whole crew over there is a fucking heater. That's a heater of a podcast.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of Whiskey Ginger in 2019.
This is a good one.
Andrew Santino.
Cheeto Santino.
Cheeto Santino. Yeah. I listened to a lot of him. He's just kind of got another one of those where, it's not long. It's not a long form podcast at all. He just kind of shoots the shit. Sometimes he has a guest, sometimes he doesn't. But
yeah,
the ones with guests are usually pretty good. He usually just gets another one of those comedians that are all kind of wrapped into that same clique. So it's kind of just fun to hear,
He's a dude from Chicago. He's just a funny dude.
Yeah, if you haven't actually listened to that or any of these podcasts, if you guys haven't listened to them, I would go listen to them. They're pretty popular. Nothing's too crazy on it, but they're all just good. I listen to a lot of Ari Shaffir too. I know he gets the good controversy because he drugs everybody, but he put out some good podcasts this last year. Towards the end of the year, he put out some good stuff, and between him and Joey Diaz too. And then Brian Redband, I know, has got a lot of this stuff saved, but they're actually putting out a lot of Brody Stevens stuff too recently. That's it's just cool because it's stuff that would have gotten lost through Periscope. And I know that they just started the Brody Stevens YouTube page, and it's all this content that basically, because he passed away, they would no longer be able to honor any of the videos. So they just delete the unused accounts and stuff. So they had captured all those video contents and stuff, hours and hours of Periscopes, and put them on YouTube recently.
That's cool.
But
that's really cool. We should talk about a couple non-comedy podcasts, or at least one. You know what I mean? And there's a really good podcast this year, and not something that I really open up about or talk about too often, but the past couple years have been like pretty crazy in regards to experiencing fucking really gnarly amounts of anxiety and stuff like that. And learning to fucking kind of navigate through some of that shit sometimes is difficult for anybody that fucking experiences that. And there's a podcast out there that helped me a lot. It's from a dude named Dennis Semsek, and it's the Anxiety Guy podcast. And it's kind of like cheesy and hokey if you haven't really done like any sort of like breathing work or like meditation and stuff like that. But I think that the dude has helped a lot in my navigation through fucking, working through that. And I figured it was worth mentioning on the podcast for anybody out there that could just use some help in guiding their way through being able to manage that shit. So shout out that podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just kind of a good thing to touch on too. Is like, it's all fun and games and it's all good to joke and stuff. But there's also, there's podcasts out there that could be just good listens that, especially while you're spending all this time commuting or all this time in a car, all this time in your office, whatever you're doing through the day, where even if you're like, I'm one of those people that at work, I'm one headphone in and I've always got a podcast on something. And, totally. I'm all for laughing, but no, that's cool. That's a good one to touch on. It's just far as,
there's a lot of resources
something that's
out
actually
there.
going to better you.
Yeah. Through the tech world, there's a lot of resources out there that are pretty dope. Even those fucking like Calm and Headspace apps and stuff like that. They even do like fucking apps that you could just fucking talk with someone, kind of talk therapy, which is pretty dope. You know what I mean? But there's resources out there, you don't got to just like grit your teeth and get through shit. If you need help out there, you could even just do it independently. You know what I mean? I encourage that shit for anybody.
Absolutely. It's got real serious, but it got real. And that's something that I've honestly been thinking about doing this for a while. And I think maybe in a podcast coming up, even if we do it in one of the like hokey, when it's Mental Awareness Week or Mental Awareness, they always got to title it and put a shit. But I really do want to hit one where you and I just like don't bullshit on jokes and we just get real with people.
Yeah. I don't mind doing that, dude.
No.
I don't mind that at all, to be honest. It's one of those things, like even in my life, I fucking... everybody has fucking struggles in every fucking capacity. You know what I mean? It's one of those
absolutely.
things.
And this podcast too, in a weird way, like, and we've talked about it, but it's been awkwardly therapeutic. Just talking, just putting shit out there.
Totally,
like it's been pretty cool. And like,
There's nothing wrong with being fucking honest human beings. You know what I mean? It's fucking fuck stigmas. Who listens to this shit?
right? No, I know, absolutely. That's like I crack up about it too, because it's like, it's all shit that I don't care if it's out there. I don't care. Like, if people know, it's just like, it's that stuff of like, let's talk about it. Everything, even you guys listening. Like, if you got shit just going on up there, let's fucking talk about it. Just
talk it out.
It's 2020. 2020. We're all getting too old. It's the Dirty 30 podcast because we're in our 30s.
Yep.
This is what it is. That's why we're doing this. But we're growing up. I'm all for joking, but dude, I'm also a brutally honest, blunt fucking weirdo. Like, I am a very upfront person. I got a lot. It's a very dark neighborhood up there. And, I have no shame in it. And that's something too that, like, that's always kind of been me. And anyone that truly knows me knows that's fucking weird and real. But I think it's more people just need to be putting their shit out there. They just need to. And I'm not saying go blast your fucking life on the internet. I'm not saying be one of those people. But get help. Talk about it. If you got shit going on,
open and honest, especially with your loved ones, the people closest to you, man. Like the
absolutely. Our friendships as people, like us as all grown-ups, it's like our small clique, and our inner circle has an inner circle, and we're all probably closer now than we all ever have been, and it's because we all know exactly what's going on in each other's heads.
Straight up.
We're very open about everything, and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. It's kind of like a new journey in it.
Oh, that's a cool part about getting older, is not only just recognizing certain things, but addressing them. You know what I mean? As an adult, it's some of the most difficult times so far experiencing in life, but on the flip side of that are some of the more rewarding. You know what I mean? Like putting in a bunch of hours at work, doing all that, and then fucking now I got a little one on the way. It's like life works in crazy ways. That's like, some of the craziest times in life are balanced out with some of the most joyous always,
oh yeah. That's always how it is. It always balances itself out, which is like the trippiest thing, because everything always finds a way. I don't know, the way that life's always.
Yeah.
I'm like the most optimistic, pessimistic person ever.
Yeah, but
my broken glass is half full.
Yeah, but
it's
like I said, 2020 is dripping in good vibes. I'm feeling it. You know what I mean?
Oh, and I'm absolutely feeling it.
It's Happy New Year. Happy New Year's to you all.
Dude, and on that note, I'm just going to go in, because I said I'm a blunt, weird, brutal, honest human. The person we want to party with from the past hung himself from a goddamn chandelier, baby.
Ugh.
And I was gonna sing the Sia song for you guys, and just I was gonna start singing. Oh, I know, it was gonna be so bad, but I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just gonna honestly, okay, there's my joke, there's my punchline. But this is just on that note. This dude struggled with it, but this dude also has opened my eyes to, a quote that I took from him, and before I even say his name, is I'm certain of nothing, because I'm not. Nobody is. It's just we're just here.
Yeah.
But it's Anthony Bourdain. It's the man.
Legend.
It's the legend.
Fucking legend.
The absolute legend. Think about just going to fucking Thailand and sitting at that table and eating a dish with him, and the people that are at that table too, just the locals, dude.
Whatever
all the
weird
shows
alcohol
that he
is
did.
being served, you accidentally, in quotes,
Dude.
drink too much of it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're having a great night. That is what type of party with this person from the past would be like, is just delicious cuisine, right? Some fucking really good alcohol, and then in excess, hopefully, and then like some sort of like cultural experience, right? Like, and
the stories,
immersing
the local
yourself,
stories,
immersing yourself in a cultural experience that is the way that it was documented too. In his case, was fucking so dope. Like the places that he went and the people that he was with, fucking was so cool.
No, this dude was epic. Like, it was those early shows too. I remember just watching them. Where you get what it was, Parts Unknown, or Parts Unknown. But what was that was the first one. Parts Unknown was the first, and then No Reservation was the second one.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I truly have no idea. I'm forgetting. But it was watching those, and it really kind of showed me video and footage too. And like, I've always been one of those weirdos that I've loved the cinematography of things too. I really like the way shows are shot. But the way that guy had his show shot in general, he was captivating. Like the dude was just, I don't know. You get stuck in everything that he's saying. You just get lost in his goddamn words.
I think the dude was legitimately a cultural icon, and all of the circumstances surrounding the dude's death are a fucking tragedy, especially hearing how beloved he was amongst his peers and things of that nature. But being able to sit down and enjoy a nice meal and drinking a bunch of booze in a land that's not known to you sounds like probably the coolest way to party with someone from the past.
Yeah, he put himself out there. That was like the coolest thing, is that I think a lot of people are afraid of just okay, and granted, yes, he had a TV show paying for all of this. Yes, he got to travel. It's not like he was just out there doing this. He became famous, he was a chef for a long time, and then he wrote books, and then that later led to TV shows and all that. But he got to jump out of his comfort zone and just go put himself on the ground in these places. It wasn't like he was just looking it up and making the dish and eating the dish in the comfort of his own home. No, he was sleeping in hotels every night, and he was going, and it gets very uncomfortable probably for that. And he was just doing it, I think, for the straight passion of it. I never got the vibe that he wasn't passionate about any of it.
Yeah. I love all the pictures of him, like when he was a younger dude, like how much of just a fucking punk rock, fucking New York, fucking
swagger, baby.
Swag. Yeah, dude.
That's swag daddy.
Lots of swag.
Dude.
Yeah. R.I.P. Bourdain, man. For sure. That would have been cool. Party with people in the past.
That guy was a legend. And I think it was just good to touch on him too after everything that we were talking about, because that dude struggled with stuff, but it just shows you how much of a fucking badass you can still be if you just go. The dude had like addictions. I think he was like a fucking heroin addict for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff, like, but you can just fucking get past it and you can just live your life. Did he live life to the fullest? And that's something that all of the people that we kind of choose at that party with people of the past, there hasn't been a single one yet that hasn't pushed life to the fucking boundary.
Yeah, that's the overall theme, I think. The gems, man. Yeah. The gems, the legends.
It is. That's our children's children will hear about Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah,
they'll hear about him. He'll be one of those dudes.
And you know what else our children's children are going to hear about is our next segment, the strain of the episode.
Let's hit it.
The strain of the episode.
LA Confidential. LA Confidential is known as a very popular, successful strain. Its buds have a frosty lime green appearance and little purple leaves. The taste is smooth and piney with a classic skunky aroma that does not linger for too long. Overall, LA Confidential is a well-rounded strain that delivers a fast-approaching sensation that is both psychedelic and super calming on the mind and body. For newer patients seeking relief, LA Confidential can both lull you to sleep and treat acute pain. Effects include relax, happy, euphoric, uplifting, and sleepy. Tastes, peppery, citrus, and herbal. LA Confidential.
And we're back. Thank you so much, Tori, for another rendition of the strain of the episode. My favorite segment, dude.
Yeah, I love it. I love how catchy that song's become. We got friends fucking singing that shit to us.
And LA Confidential, if you see it out there, get yourself a sack. It's delicious.
It is delicious. Well, we appreciate everyone sticking around. This one actually went well over 30 minutes, and I'm proud of it. I think we've actually been secretly talking about that, too. We might actually ease into some longer episodes, because 30 minutes, we're in our 30s. We don't need to necessarily pull the gimmick all the way to the fact of it being a 30-minute episode, too.
Yeah.
Who cares if they run longer? A lot of people have been requesting it, too. We've got some other segment ideas, too. We might run one called Hideas, where Tim and I just are baked and we think of ideas.
Shout out, Jeff.
Yeah, that was a good one. And we might actually bring back those listener questions again, too, because I've been recently getting some weird ones that at least I could spitball off Tim and they'd be hilarious. But
Yeah.
Thank any and all of you guys listening. This has been fun as fuck, and 2020 is going to be pretty exciting because now we have a full year with a 2-week schedule of putting out podcasts. So we're going to have hours and hours and hours by the end of this year just out there in the universe.
I love that. Happy New Year's to all you guys out there. We're going to leave you with this Jeff Goldblum quote, as we promise you every episode. Have a good one, y'all.
Love y'all.
Hawaii can be heaven, and it can be hell. Jeff Goldblum.
Thanks, y'all.
Peace.
CIA Director James Woolsey said he expects the experiments to be reinforcements for TV and rock stars. The U.S. military expects the younger audience to fully comply.
The Dirty 30 Podcast.
For those of you waiting for the Starbucks promo code, you're going to have to wait until next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Dirty 30 Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on all the social media platforms at TDTPcast.